In one of the most remote regions of China, a mysterious building has been quietly growing for more than a decade, so large it can be seen from space. Satellite images reveal it's big enough to house entire battleships and some of the world's largest aircraft, yet experts believe the place isn't meant to house any sort of conventional weapon. Instead, the hangar may be breeding something unlike anything the world's ever seen, an entirely new type of predator, capable of bringing China's aerial warfare capabilities to whole new heights. Observers first took notice of the strange structure in mid-September 2013, when it was believed to start taking shape. The place is located in the heart of the Xinjiang Desert, a vast, barren expanse in western China with virtually no major development for miles, well beyond the reach of casual observation. At first, satellite imagery analysts paid little attention to the project, but as the site continued to grow over the following decade, concern kept on mounting. By 2021, reports confirmed that the construction had evolved into one of the biggest hangars in the world, long enough to house a 1,092-foot-long American Nimitz-class supercarrier, and still end up with roughly 100 feet to spare. But perhaps more ominous was the inclusion of a 3,000-foot runway-like construction extending directly from the hangar's massive doors. This layout suggested the facility was designed to house an aircraft so large and so secret that China was choosing to conceal it by building it in the middle of nowhere. While some may argue the runway exists only to allow officials rapid access to and from the site, others may point to the hangar's proximity to the highly classified Milan airbase, a testbed for unmanned aircraft, which suggests that the secretive structure could have been built for a similar purpose. Additional clues surrounding the hangar include a nearby radar installation, a missile test complex, and obscure towers that some believe function as meteorological stations. It's also been noted that Chinese scientists have been studying the region for years, examining its suitability for high-altitude flight. Reports suggested that stratospheric airships, similar to those that dominated the skies of the 1920s and 30s, had already been flown near the area where the hangar now stands. Even so, for years, no one could say with certainty that the structure was an airship construction or testing facility. Or at least, not until a new batch of satellite imagery finally revealed what many believe to be an experimental craft resting on the runway before the hangar. Images obtained by the space-based intelligence firm Black Sky showed an oval-shaped aircraft that, even at a distance, appeared to confirm the theories that aerostat-like aircraft are being housed inside the hangar. However, at an estimated 100 feet in length, the airship was far too small to justify the construction of such an enormous site to house it, leaving analysts wondering about the aircraft's true purpose and why it was operating in such a secretive spot. That theory seemed to be confirmed as experts began poring over publicly available Chinese patents linked to airship development. Almost immediately, analysts identified experimental concepts describing a 400-foot-long ground transport cradle, a design clearly intended to support a far larger airship. Black Sky soon confirmed that a nearly identical cradle had also been seen on satellite imagery, positioned on the paved strip section directly in front of the hangar, strongly suggesting that whatever's being tested now may only be a precursor to something much larger, getting ready to come out from the facility. However, size may not be the only objective the Chinese are after. According to analysts who have conducted detailed assessments of the surrounding infrastructure, the hangar appears to be part of a broader test complex, one that includes facilities associated with high-power microwave weapons and laser systems. But even without explicit offensive capabilities, an airship of this nature could still pose a significant threat to global security. As Jamie Jacobs, executive director of the Oklahoma Aerospace Institute, has warned, an autonomous airship could function as a, quote, submarine in the skies, capable of lingering over foreign territory for extended periods, deploying diverse types of payloads, or quietly gathering intelligence without placing a single pilot at risk. Some may hope that the high-profile Chinese balloon incident of 2023, in which a much smaller surveillance platform was shot down by a U.S. Air Force F-22A Raptor after crossing American airspace, could have prompted Beijing to reconsider its approach to such technologies. Rather than scaling back, it's been confirmed that the mysterious hangar has only grown larger in recent years, and whatever's being built inside is likely only becoming more sophisticated by the day. For reasons that no one can fully explain yet, China chose to add a 300-foot extension to its already enormous hangar, expanding it to a size large enough to accommodate 5 or 6 American C-5 Galaxy transport aircraft, the largest planes in the U.S. arsenal. However, it's unlikely the facility was expanded to house any sort of conventional aircraft. Since the first airship-like vehicle was spotted at the site, the prevailing theory has been that the hangar was built primarily to construct and test experimental lighter-than-air craft. Yet even now, it's impossible to say with certainty what kind of aerostat China may be building. To date, there are no known operational airships or even serious public patents describing a design that would require a building over 1,400 feet long to contain it. For context, the BNSTKT-02, one of China's few known working aerostats and believed to be among its largest, measures roughly 328 feet in length and less than 100 feet in diameter. Even the largest airship ever built, the German LZ-129 Hindenburg, stretched only a little beyond 800 feet in length. The most practical explanation for the hangar's immense size may be that it was never meant to house a single giant airship at all, but rather a fleet of smaller platforms, each potentially capping at around 400 feet in length, consistent with the large ground cradle observed outside the facility. The idea of an airship warehouse would not be a new concept. Analysts have noted that surveillance aerostat companies in the United States, such as TCOM, operate similar facilities, though on a far smaller scale. It's also possible the expansion was driven by the need to support larger and more complex ground systems, airship handling equipment, launch mechanisms, and even control facilities from which operators on the ground could remotely manage platforms hovering hundreds or even thousands of miles away. Other analysts warn the hangar's growth may signal something else: the ability to support a broader range of payloads. These could include swarms of aerial drones or deployable ground sensors released over contested or sensitive regions to collect and relay intelligence while remaining difficult to detect for local authorities. There is, of course, another explanation, one that Chinese officials may hope becomes the main narrative should further discoveries on its airship program come to light. In late 2025, a prototype of the AS-700, one of China's first operational manned airships designed for passenger transport, was flown over the city of Shaoxing, near the country's eastern shoreline. The aircraft was delivered to the Jianshui Science and Technology City Hub, where it's expected to continue undergoing testing and training until it's deemed fully operational. The official mission of the airship, often referred to as the aerial beluga, is far more benign than the presumed secretive projects unfolding in China's deserts. Designed for low-altitude flight, just under 1,000 feet, the AS-700 is intended to carry 9 civilian passengers and a single pilot, with a maximum range of roughly 435 miles. According to official data, AVIC, the state-owned aerospace giant behind the project, began development of the AS-700 in August 2018, a timeline that overlaps with the period when the massive hangar in Xinjiang was already fully operational. There are, however, no official sources indicating that AVIC or any other civilian developer has ever been granted access to that remote facility for commercial airship testing. More so, given the hangar's proximity to missile ranges and weapons testing infrastructure, analysts widely believe the site is reserved exclusively for airships intended for national defense purposes. Still, China's visible push toward a new era of flight that openly embraces airship design may not be accidental. Civilian programs like the AS-700 could help soften the perception of threat surrounding Beijing's more secretive aerial developments, even as the country continues to steadily expand and modernize its military aviation capabilities. While analysts continue to watch for any confirmation that a fully operational military airship may eventually emerge from the secret hangar in the Xinjiang desert, China is already expanding its aerial arsenal through more conventional means. In December 2025, it was confirmed that a new turboprop medium transport aircraft, referred to as both the Y-15 and Y-30, is under development for the People's Liberation Army Air Force. Recent reports indicate that the aircraft has already entered the flight testing phase, signaling that the program has moved well beyond the drawing board. According to several analysts, the new aircraft could eventually replace the Shaanxi Y-9, which, since its introduction in 2012, has become one of China's most important military transport platforms. The Y-9 earned that role through its ability to fly low, operate from austere airfields, and move large volumes of cargo where more advanced jets cannot. Whether these next-generation transports will one day operate in contested regions alongside military airships, however, remains to be seen.